Yeah, so it's a pretty simple slide. There's not a lot to dig into in terms of bullets here, but the idea that we're all overloaded nowadays, especially if you think about the rising generations, which is a good proportion of the folks you're encountering in higher ed, they get a lot of information all the time. They're on their phones all the time. They're getting a level of personalization from things like TikTok and many of the social media platforms that Kasandrea is really expert in and higher ed social talks about. So they're getting used to a level of attention that really is beyond one size fits all. There's a book by Todd Rose out of the Harvard Graduate School of Ed called The End of Average, which is really great. And its tagline is "One size fits none." He tells the story of how the Navy was designing its fighter jets, and they did a survey of all their cadets, and they found that the average height was 5'8". So in the first iteration of the fighter jets, they were built so that they were optimized for someone who was 5'8". And then it turned out that the Navy had folks ranging from maybe 5 feet or less all the way up to 6'5". And it turns out there were a lot of problems with the cockpits. Once they designed it so that you could customize the fit of your cockpit to your height, they were able to really make the breakthrough. And I think, he wrote that book probably about 15 years ago. The world's changed in some ways where personalization is no longer a differentiator. It's really table stakes. And if you're not able to provide some personalization, if you're not able to talk to someone by name, let them know that you actually know who they are, you're really going to lose this group. We'll talk more about it when it comes to community and belonging. But this is a group who's lonely. They're suffering in a lot of ways, and they want a simplified user experience. They want people who know them on the other side. And then I think, Kasandrea, you have some ideas on how Pathify might be able to provide that.
Yeah. And I think I see this a lot with my students at USF that I work with, that we push so much information out that we have trained our students to become nose blind to it, right? Email fatigue. We email them about every event on campus. The Career Center's having this, Greek Life is doing this, Homecoming's doing this, there's free pizza over here. And there's so much information that the students just turn it all off. They just can't engage with it with that overwhelmed sense. And I think we really need to take a cue from the companies out there that are really hyper locating in on the end user experience, right? When we log into Netflix, they have thousands upon thousands of movies, but they don't overwhelm me and show me all the movies they have. They know my tastes and they make it personal to me. And businesses have been doing this for a while now. And so this is the ecosystem I think our students are used to. And so when they're not able to have that personalization, it almost feels like the company on the end just doesn't care enough about them. It's almost a way of saying, you don't value my time, you're not valuing my relationship. And I think we can't afford to do that as educational institutions. First, it's just not true. We're deeply concerned about our students. I don't think anybody does this work because it's glamorous and pays millions of dollars, right? We believe in the transformative power of education and what the student experience is going to give us. But we need to be changing that narrative. We need to interact with our students a little bit different. And we're putting out so much information, and we're trying so hard to push this content out, both on social, in emails, in flyers, and hallways, but it's not resonating. And then also on the other side, we have no data to know, is that working? Are flyers in the hallway the best way of getting out information about that career fair? Is anybody seeing our Instagram post? Is that driving applications to our college? And so I think that's what I really was impressed about with the Pathify platform. First and foremost, when I saw it, was it can be hyper located to that individual student so that we can still create all of that amazing content, but then the student's experience experience is not information overwhelm. It is carefully curated to their standing in school, their particular class level, the clubs and organizations that they are passionate about. And it allows them to surface the experiences that they want to have on campus in a way that, meets them as a digital native, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I think that's really going to be what sets educational institutions apart in this next 20 years, is what colleges are able to capitalize on this.